Look, I've been a fan of Auli'i Cravalho ever since Moana, because I think she's a promising young talent. I watched that show Rise that she was in. It was pretty good. And I even watched that Little Mermaid live thing that she did. That was not so good. Point is, I really like her, and I like it when she gets work. So now let's talk about the first official movie she's in that's not a Disney movie. All Together Now. You know, like the Beatles song. All together now, all together now. So All Together Now is a new movie on Netflix. It's based on a book called Sorta Like a Rock Star, and it's about a young girl in high school. Her name is Amber Appleton, played by Auli'i Cravalho. She's a really talented kid, she's a great singer, but she's pretty much homeless. When the movie starts out, she and her mother are living in a school bus. But she gets an audition for Carnegie Mellon University, so now her friends and family have to help her out. And now we have our drama movie. Now, like I said, I was looking forward to this movie because it's Auli'i Cravalho and I really like her. And originally, I just liked her because she's a good singer. Now I can say I like her because she's also a really good actress. Her character in this movie, Amber, she feels like she has to take care of her mother because her mother is struggling to make ends meet. The relationship that Amber has with her mother is one of the strong points of this movie, and I felt like it was done very well. Because it raises the question, who is taking care of who here? Because usually the way I understand it is the parent is usually the one supposed to be taking care of the kid. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I wouldn't know, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be. But in this movie, her mother is not making the best decisions. Justina Machado is the actress who plays her mother. She's really good. The emotions were all on point. I believed the acting in every scene. It never felt like acting. So big props to her. Renzi Feliz is in this movie. You may know him as Alex Wilder from Marvel's Runaways, and I'm glad to see him getting more work too, because he's also a really good actor. He plays Amber's best friend, and it's established that yeah, she has a crush on him, but what I liked is that this movie doesn't go, oh, now they're in love. The relationship they have is taken slowly. They're friends first. I really appreciated that because it just felt more natural, more real. It dodges a cliche that way. In fact, this movie dodges a few cliches. I'll get to them later. A couple of other big names are in this movie. Carol Burnett is in it. She's not in it much, but I really liked her character. Because she was kind of this mean old woman who you could tell supported this young girl. But again, the fact that she was kind of a bitch just made it feel more real. I mean, I don't know if the book this movie is based on a true story, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if it is. Fred Armisen is in this movie too, and he's also not in it much, but he was also good. He was funny in a couple scenes, and he was really emotional in his other ones. Now, this movie being a drama, of course it's gonna be one of those feel-good movies about having hope in the most grim of situations. It might not be for everyone, you know, it's not exciting. In fact, this movie's actually kind of a downer at times. I was gonna touch on this later, but I guess I'm touching on it now. You can't casually watch this movie. You gotta be in the mood for it. You gotta be in the mood for a heartfelt story about a young girl who does not have much in her life, and she's struggling with her relationships with her friends and family. That can be really hard on a 17-year-old. I mean, I can only imagine. Things happen in this movie where you're like, oh my god, that sucks. It's really sad. You're watching and you're like, that's depressing. In an already depressing time that we are in right now, sometimes the last thing we want is to watch something that is depressing. But then, you know, comes the movie's message about hope. Hope in the most grim of situations. That's a really important message, especially these days. And the other cliche dodges this movie does that I was talking about, this movie doesn't do the high school cliche of the bullies or the cheerleaders. Amber's never picked on by the jocks or anything like that. In fact, she actually has a group of friends who are really supportive of her, and I really liked them. They were cool friends, they were funny, I liked every scene they were in. We don't need bullies in the story, we already have depressing enough things happening to her outside of school. Why throw bullies in the mix? Just, you didn't need that. As for the music in this movie, it was pretty good. There's a song that Auli'i Cravalho sings for this movie called Feels Like Home, and it's a very sweet song. But what I liked is that the score in the film incorporated that song into it. Throughout the movie, you hear the melody of that song in the score. I really like it when movies do that, because it makes that song feel like the main theme song of the movie, which is really cool. So in the end, All Together Now was a really good story. It's dramatic, it's heartfelt, the acting is all around very good, the music is great. It might be a bit of a downer for some people, so if you don't feel like getting depressed for at least a little bit, I'd probably have you steer clear of this movie. But it has a really good message about hope, and that's always needed. This movie is solid, check it out. If you like Auli'i Cravalho, then you should definitely check it out. My only question is why they changed the title. I would have been fine if the movie was called Sorta Like a Rock Star. I'm not sure where the title All Together Now came from. I don't know, maybe the director's a Beatles fan. So All Together Now, have you watched it? What did you think about it? Have you read the book it's based on? What do you think about it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.